Thank you, everyone. My name is Adriana Lopez, and as you can see, I did This is America, Images of Histories of Racism and Exploitation. I was inspired by Childish Gambino's song, This is America. So that is what I built the unit on. My content objective was a question that my students asked actually during the pandemic. They asked me, what is Black Lives Matter, Ms. Lopez? What is that? And that was when we were all remote learning and they were seeing a lot of rioting in the streets and they just didn't quite understand. And so that's when I, in my mind, started developing like the idea that I wanted to put together a content unit that helped them understand how we are here, but we needed to understand the past to see how we were in the present. So these are just the Common Core state standards that we use in Illinois and Chicago Public Schools. I put them there for you. In order for me to achieve this, I teach, by the way, just all seniors this year. And I wrote this specifically for my senior elective class, Argumentative Literature. However, I did end up also using it in one of my core English classes I teach English for. The number one important thing that I think I needed to do before I started my unit was do social emotional learning, community building, because I can't teach this if I don't have their respect and that they know that we can handle mature things. And so I did a lot of community building activities before I even started the unit. A lot of circles, a lot of honest conversations, a lot of one-on-one conversations where we speak very honestly. And of course, I model everything that I want them and expect them to do. And once they know that, then I feel like I can teach anything. So I did some historical background. I did some observe, reflect, and questioning with my photographs. A lot of close reading because this is an English class where we annotate, we answer claim, evidence, reasoning questions. We do chunking activities, and I always do one-on-one check-ins. I know a lot of my students have anxiety, and sometimes they don't want to raise their hand. I just go around the class and then I ask them how they are. So the student responses have been great, super engaging. Because I teach seniors and it's an elective class that they don't all need to graduate, I try to pick highly engaging things that will grab their interest. And since this came from them, they're the ones who wanted to learn more about the Black Lives Matter movement. I thought, what better than to make a unit from what they wanted? So that is what I did. And I'm so happy that I was able to take this seminar. So I started my first lesson with Frederick Douglass, What to the Slave is the 4th of July. Before I did that speech, that text, we looked at these images and I wanted them to observe, reflect, close read. I wrote there which images they are. We wanted to talk about the pseudoscience behind some of this. And then I wanted to contrast that with an image of Frederick Douglass so that they could see what was happening in that time period. Of course, when we read the speech, we annotated it, we discussed it. We annotated these classes, these pictures together as a community, and I teach instructional self-contained students all the way to IB students. I teach all the levels. And I really I created this unit with a lot of images. I'm so happy that I took Tim's seminar because these images gave an in to everyone to participate. Even if a student could just say, oh, well, I see, you know, his hair is nicely combed, or I can see that the suit is nicely. We were able to go from that level all the way to the top. It just gave a way for every single student in the class to be able to participate without hesitation, without feeling like, what if I'm not right? Because no matter what you said, you could make an observation. And that just started building their confidence so that every time we did more and more images, the students just felt more and more confident. And like I said, I teach this in an instructional class, which that's what we call it, but it's a self-contained special education class. And then I teach it in a class where I have IB learners, AP learners, at-level learners, co-taught learners, and also some self-contained learners. So I have everything. I'm both a special ed teacher and a general education teacher. I do both half and half. So then I try to cater everything. I don't want them to do a different curriculum. I want them to do the same. I just try to approach it so that they can have a way in some way. The other images I used when I moved on to the next one, we did the poem/song Strange Fruit. I did not include an image up here of a lynching. I do have it on my board covered in case there are some, you know, if somebody is sensitive, you can lift it and you can see. I also have student work and I turned it around so that you can see all of the work that the students have done. I printed it from my Google Class. These are the image that we looked at. We looked at a lot of them from segregation to the Harlem Renaissance. And I wanted them to see the contrast of how people were living in the United States. And then we did the poem Strange Fruit. We did the image of the lynching in Marion, Indiana that inspired the poem. We listened to the songs from Billie Holiday and Nina Simone, and we annotated the poem. And then the last part of the unit is to look at the song This Is America from Childish Gambino. These are the images that we will be using. This is the part I haven't done yet, I'm getting to it. And this is the culmination of what inspired my unit, was this is America. This is who we are. So how can we get to the next steps? So of course I'm asking the students, what is the purpose of this? Why am I showing you this? What are we supposed to take away from it? Immediately the kids were like, oh, Ms. Lopez, that we need to do better, right? We need to teach our kids and everybody, but I'm like, exactly, and I'm like, and it starts right here. And the number one thing I've noticed in my class as I started teaching this is that the level of respect amongst everyone has just increased so much, because how can we be disrespectful after learning about things like this? So this was my unit. Thank you.